about democracy and the rule of law at every stop in Africa. Given that, what is your comment on former President Donald Trump's indictment, and are you worried that his calls for protest could lead to a recurrence of the violence similar to that of January 6th? And a Wall Street Journal reporter has been detained in Russia. Do you have any update on his status? And what is your reaction to Vladimir Putin's decision to detain him? And for President Hichilema, what does Trump's indictment tell you about the example that the United States sets in terms of rule of law?
I am not going to comment on an ongoing criminal case as it relates to the former president, but I will say, as it relates to the American citizen that has been detained by the government of Russia, we are deeply concerned. And I will state in unequivocal terms that we will not tolerate and condemn, in fact, repression of journalists, and that we are absolutely concerned about any attempt to in any way stifle freedom of the press. Yes.
The indictment of President Trump, what does that mean to the rule of law? I think let's remove names from your question. Let's put what we decided we would do to govern ourselves in an orderly manner. First, our constitutions, bedrock law, then secondary laws, other regulations. Create a platform or framework around which we agreed, either as Americans or Zambians, to govern ourselves. And so to live within those confines. And when there's transgression against law, it does not matter who is involved. I think that is what the rule of law means. So I take out a name, I put in place of a name what we citizens of our countries, citizens of the global community, must do as we exercise our rights and freedoms, and where our rights and freedoms end, other people's rights and freedoms commence. This is universal, certainly for Zambia. This is the way it is. And here, Vice President, we have a scenario now when we fight against corruption, which is taking away resources from children and the sick. Sometimes names are thrown into it and perceptions are created that are totally inappropriate, because transgressions against the law, if you take what belongs to the public, you have offended the law, and the name does not matter. That is my answer. Thank you.